has led the way in so many areas in film and in the environment, and now presenting, as he will, the next recipient of our Environmental Heroes Award, James Cameron.
Thank you, Senator Jansen. I wasn't sure if you were, done, or if you were just. I realized you were vamping, you were tap dancing while I was coming up. Okay. We're good, and you're really good at that. Thank you. So it's a proud honor for me to get to present. Proud honor for me to get to present this award to Suzy Amos Cameron, who just happens to be my wife. And it's a beautiful vase. When I received this award before, I didn't get the vase. This is great. It's a vessel for life. So, I've been with Suzy. She's been my partner in life now for 23 years. And so I've gotten to see how she rolls, how she does this. And I think, first of all, any woman that raises 5 kids is a hero, even if they don't do anything else. Or mostly raises. Our youngest is 12. But Suzy has gone on to do so many other things because she does care so deeply about the environment, and she cares so deeply about her children, and by extension, all children, the children that are going to inherit this world that we're creating or uncreating as we speak. So her concern, that deep sense of duty, has led her to do things like found her own school, as you do, with her sister. She founded the Muse School, which is down in Malibu, Calabasas area. There's it's from 2 through high school. It's a progressive school. It's a green school. It's probably one of the greenest schools in America. It was the first school to be 100% vegan, for example, for environmental reasons. She founded the Red Carpet Green Dress Sustainable Fashion fundraiser and event, which is now attracting a lot of attention from major brands. It's in its 10th year. The school's in its 12th year. She is a founder and sits on the board of a company called Verdient, which makes plant-based proteins up in Canada. And she manages our 5,000-acre farm in New Zealand, which is a big organic vegetable producer. Things like that. Everything is all in an ecosystem having to do with concern about the environment, the natural world, and education and spreading the word. She ran a group called the Plant Power Task Force, which was to spread the word about plant-based nutrition, which she and I both believe is so critically important relative to climate change. Most people don't make that cognitive connection. We first got into it 7 years ago primarily for health reasons, but then there was this dawning awareness of the massive negative impact of animal agriculture, which if I'm sure most of you here in Santa Barbara know this, but for those that don't, animal agriculture is responsible for 15% of climate forcing. All transportation combined accounts for 13%. So it's great that we have all these electric vehicles here and so on, but if you're eating a burger riding around in a Prius, you're doing it wrong. All right? And there's so much about this community, and this gathering is about how do we learn more? How do we profit from the other pioneers that have gone ahead of us so that we can learn to live right with the natural world and with the generations to come. And that's what Suzy's all about. And she's tireless. She doesn't do this for fame. She doesn't do it for glory. She doesn't do it for money. She does it out of this deep sense of need. And it can be a burden. It takes its toll. There's so many times when she said, I couldn't sleep last night, just thinking about the enormity of the problem. And I see how it hurts her heart, what we're doing to the natural world, endangering and making species extinct as fast as humanly possible. But she doesn't just get that kind of paralysis that some people feel. She takes action. She does something about it. She works even harder. Now she's written a book called OMD, One Meal a Day, and she's going to explain all that to you, I'm sure. But again, it's about the impact of plant-based nutrition and how that is a big kind of grassroots weapon that we have to fight climate, not waiting for government to take care of it for us, but just acting ourselves and doing it ourselves. And so, you know, I'm so proud of her for all the work she does. It's tireless, it's endless, and whenever the going gets tough, she just gets tougher. You know, she's from Oklahoma, and she's got that grit, she's got that spirit, and so we all benefit from the energy that she brings to her sustainability endeavors. So, baby, why don't you come on up here? It's with great pride that I present this award to Suzy and Miss Cameron, my baby.
Okay. Bye, baby. All right, my heart's pounding, and I've got a lump in my throat now with all the things he was saying. I watched him up on this stage, and I never dreamed that I would be up here. But it really all started back, excuse me for a minute, 2012, May 7th. We watched a movie called Forks Over Knives, and 24 hours later our kitchen was cleaned out. We went 100% plant-based. And I was coming from it from completely a health point of view. He's got cancer and heart disease in his family. I've got cancer, heart disease, and diabetes in my family. And then he started educating me on the environmental impacts of animal agriculture. Even though I had been in environmental circles for decades, no one had ever said a word about animal agriculture and how that connected to environmental issues. And we were out walking on the beach, and you all know him now, but his movies, Aliens, Terminator, Titanic, Avatar, he's kind of a doomsday kind of guy. And when we started going out 23 years ago, he actually said to me, I don't use the word hope. And frankly, I never heard him say it. But right after we went plant-based, we were walking on the beach, and he turned to me and he said, you know what, babe? For the first time in my life, I have hope. Well, I almost fell down. He's got a t-shirt that says, hope is not a strategy, and he wears it. But on that day, he said, you know, the more people we can inspire to go plant-based, the more we can move the needle on climate change. And I knew in that moment that what my mission was to go out and inspire as many people as I could to go plant-based. Because a lot of us don't realize that, like he said, it's the animal agriculture is the second leading cause of greenhouse gases, more than all transportation combined, every car, every airplane, every bus, everything. And one person, I'm gonna pick someone, you, if you change one of your meals a day to a plant-based meal for 1 year, you will save 200,000 gallons of water and the carbon equivalent of driving from Los Angeles to New York. So instead of being paralyzed and thinking that as an individual there's nothing you can do, every time you sit down, every time you put something on your plate, if it's plant-based, you know you're moving the needle. So 50 years ago, as we know, there was a devastating oil spill that inspired the first Earth Day. 50 years ago, the Beatles had their last personal appearance. 50 years ago, man walked on the moon for the first time. A lot of technology has happened since then. We've got solar, we've got hydro, we've got wind, we've got geothermal, and we've got all of those things. But let's look at the next 50 years, because it's our children that are going to grow up in this world? And what kind, I might cry again, what kind of a world are they going to grow up in? It is up to us grown-ups. We made a big mess, and it's up to us to clean it up. Now, I understand that about 35,000 people come through this festival. So, by doing the math, if everyone coming through this festival chooses to change only one of their meals a day for 1 year, they will save 7 billion, with a capital B, 7 billion gallons of water, and the carbon equivalent of driving from Los Angeles to New York 35,000 times. So, I implore all of you, and go back home and tell your kids and your aunties and your uncles and your grandmas and your grandpas to do OMD. Because we can actually together, we can make a plan, we can be persistent, we can take action, and we can have fun while we're changing one of our meals a day, while we're doing OMD to make our world a better place for all of our children to grow up in. So, OMD, and thank you.
Another warm round of applause for our Community Environmental Council's Environmental Hero 2019. Thank you, Suzy.